In this video, you'll see some before and after images from 3 of my horses, Solana, Natyam, and Ovation. Now, these 3 horses are relatively normal horses, so this is less about me showing off and more hopefully to inspire you for what you can do with your horses. Now, the only quick training fix there is out there is for you to quickly decide to be dedicated to the long-term practice. Stay in love with the process of training. Focus on what you and your horse can do, but continually make small and consistent improvements to what you cannot yet do. Keep going and prepare to be amazed. In training, visualization and sort of belief that it's possible is so important. And having trained many horses, when I see any horse at the beginning stage, I can already see the version of them that they are yet to become. So please use this video as inspiration for what you and your horse could possibly achieve. The clips I chose were not the worst of the worst compared to the best of the best moments. What I chose was average moments from early training compared to an average moment of the training right now. And of course, their training is continuing. So for this video, I'd like you to not so much get bogged down into analyzing the details, but kind of soak in the image of how they were then compared to how they are now. So first, let's look at Solana, and the footage I chose is footage I have. It's already in the video classroom. And this is Justyna Rosynska from Poland riding her. She's one of the coaches inside the virtual arena. And Solana was, she's a very clever girl, but not always so open to suggestion. She's kind of blocky in her body and tends to be actually a fairly large mover, a very big mover, yet at the same time she can be behind the leg. She doesn't look behind the leg in this video, but she can often feel that way. And so here she is later. So what I'm really proud of with Solana is the throughness that we've been able to develop. It's been a constant project to keep her motivated and really loose and supple. And again, happy to respond. She often says no. So I'm really was kind of pleasantly surprised. I wasn't sure if she would really be open to this whole dressage thing. But she's actually quite fun to ride now. And the good news is she's just a solid citizen, fairly easy to balance. All that kind of blockiness in her body has turned into just solidity and stability. Once you get her open and forward, the rest is fairly uncomplicated. You kind of just sit and steer. But I just love her throughness and her power that she has now. now let's look at Natia. And this footage I'm about to show you is from when she was very young, just starting to be independent in the arena. And she is a very mild-mannered kind of horse, but she can be very quietly not listening. So she always looks like she's right with you, but sometimes she can really not be. And steering with her was kind of a challenge. She's a big girl, but she really liked to wipe herself up along the wall. So I often used barrels and obstacles inside the arena. You can see me having to work a little bit to turn her. That was probably our biggest thing, is she just very quietly would, not steer. It's like turning the Queen Mary a little bit. Other than that, she's a pretty happy camper. Her balance was not so bad. She's pretty, normal balance, back to front. But again, the lateral thing and the running through the shoulders was probably our biggest discussion, and her just ability to kind of, like I said, quietly kind of go through the aids. Always looking like she's being perfect. But I would know she wasn't quite where I was wanting to aim up. I'm happy to report her steering is awesome now, with or without anything on her head. So just lovely in that department. And you can see she has beefed up quite well. Some of that is muscle. Actually, I've had a really tough time keeping her weight where I need it. She eats air, but really dramatic shape change, and it's not just in her roundness of her extra pounds, but just in the whole way she's learned to carry herself and to be able to collect and organize herself. She's not the freest mover in the world, but just pretty solid in her gait. It's pretty easy to regulate now. And here she's just learning to collect. She's a little bit short and choppy here. She can be freer than this, but super happy that she's able to take some more weight on that hind end. Again, she's got a lot of body weight, and connected with that attitude of pretty mild-mannered, she, like I said, she can just sort of run through and ignore the aids pretty easily. So I'm just super happy with her nimbleness. She's finally found a little bit of her Andalusian heritage. So some pretty nice maneuvering there, even in the counter canter. So a long way from needing to rub up against the fences when she was a baby. And then for Ovation, who I am so darn proud of, here's Ovation in one of the Results in Harmony DVDs, the early ones, DVD number 1. And he's kind of a goofy sort of personality and a pretty powerful mover in his way, but not very naturally balanced or coordinated. He's got actually a pretty big swinging hind end without a lot of ability to articulate through his stifle or his hocks. He had to learn how to do that. So here he is. I can show you he did learn how to bend through his stifles and his hocks. I really was not sure if he would learn collection. He got stuck at second level when the C word is first mentioned, the collected word is first mentioned, and he had a hard time at that level. And it took a lot of diligence at the walk, actually. Walk and pee off and really taking care of his balance. I had to kind of stop doing freestyle for a while. And I'd hold his hand and say, hey, this is how your legs can bend. School halts, things like that. Once he learned, he's like, hey, I can move my back legs differently. He really just blossomed. Lateral work was not easy for him in the beginning. Now it's probably his best feature. Took 3 years to get a clean flying change. Now he's doing multiple 110Bs. Again, this is a very inexpensive horse, and we had a ton of problems along the way. Accident prone, injury prone horse, various health issues. This is, I think, the first time he ever did more than 4 110Bs. But like I said, I'm just so proud of him. I didn't think this would happen. He does like to please, though. He really responds to praise. He's kind of like a dog. He really likes a trick, a treat, and tons of praise. Because otherwise he wasn't naturally a very motivated horse. Now he is. He really works with. He's super generous, and I think honestly he is as proud of himself as I could ever be with him.